Hi, I'm David Harrington. We're here with another Turkstra's tips and tricks. Today we're going to be building this nice little pine planter box. It's really easy to make, it'll take about an hour, and all the tools and equipment used in this video are available at your local Turkstra Lumber. So I've gone ahead and pre-cut all the pieces for this planter box. You're going to need 8 pieces at 8 1/4 inches. That's going to be the base of the planter box and 2 of the sides. You're also going to need 11 pieces at 9 3/4. That's going to be the other 2 sides. And then you're going to need 8 pieces at 12 inches, and those are going to be the legs that stand up around the planter box. So we'll go ahead now and get into assembly. So how we're going to start is building the base of the planter box. And the way I set this up, with the one side being 8 1/4 inches long, it's going to leave a little gap between each board for drainage and also kind of visually, but mainly for drainage. So we'll go ahead and start nailing this up. You could use screws to fasten this together, but then you'd be stuck with a lot of exposed screw heads, which isn't the nicest look. You could if you want though. So we'll nail on the 2 sides, and then we'll place the center of the bottom in, and we'll just kind of put it in by eye, leaving an even gap on each side. Also too, I'm using pine for this. This is 1x3 pine. This is available at any Turkstra Lumber, along with all the other tools and equipment we're using here today. So we've got our 3 panels nailed on the bottom of the box. This is the bottom of the planter box. And now we're going to go ahead and put on the other 2 sides. So these are going to be your pieces that were 9 3/4. The reason it's 9 3/4 is because these were 8 1/4 each, plus the 1x3 is 3/4 of an inch thick. So those 3 measurements equals 9 3/4, and that will be the other 2 sides. So we'll go ahead and nail those on now. Also at this point in time, you're going to want to keep in mind of where you're driving nails in, because you've got a nail like here. You don't want to drive a nail in here because they're going to hit each other. So you have to kind of start planning out where you're putting your nails in. So we're just finishing up the piece on the other side, and then we'll get into the rest of the assembly. So now we've got the base of our planter. We're going to go ahead and put our legs on the side. Now the way I've designed it is to have the legs stick out the bottom about 1 inch, just to allow for more drainage and for looks. And that will allow also a small gap between the side panels. Now though, you could do it with no gap, or you could do them with a gap, and that's going to change this. So you just kind of have to lay these out the way that you want it to look. Take a quick measurement, and then that's going to allow you to know where to nail the leg on. And after that, you can start to nail the panels on the side. So I've been kind of looking at it here, and I've determined that about 1 inch past the bottom is going to look good. So we're going to go ahead and nail that on now. And like I said before, definitely start keeping an eye on where you put your nails, because the bottom portion of this has a lot of kind of nails intersecting, and you don't want them to hit each other, or it's going to bend the nail. So now we've got 2 of our legs nailed on. You can kind of start to see what we're doing here. So now next we're going to put the other legs on. So a nice tip here is so that you don't end up with your project being rocky like this or out of square, is you can kind of hold this side square, and you could mark here where to nail this on. And then once we get those 4 on, as you can see, we'll start to put the sides in, and then it's going to really start to come together. So we're just finishing nailing on the last leg support. Just make sure that the top is nice and flush. If for some reason your pieces aren't the exact same length, you're going to want the top to be flush rather than the bottom, because that's what you're going to see. So there we go. We've got all 4 legs on now. So now is going to be the time to start laying in the sides. And we're going to start with the top. We'll put the top in on all the sides, and then we'll place the 2 centers in evenly. So we'll start with the longer of the 2 sides, the piece that was 9 3/4. So what you want to do is you're going to want to place this in, but when you nail it, don't nail down on the top of the flat side because it's going to bounce. What you're going to do is turn the planter on its side so that when you drive a nail through here, it's supported all the way down and the material isn't going to bounce when you try to nail it. Also, if at any time you drive a nail in and it looks like it's going crooked, definitely pull it out before you drive it all the way in. Then you can drive it in straight again. So now we've got all 4 sides on, and we're going to start placing the other pieces in. You'll notice everything's getting kind of snug now because everything's getting nailed up. If it is too snug, you might have to just trim your pieces a little bit to get them to fit. So we're just going to place everything, and then we're kind of just going to eyeball this gap to get it perfectly even. We'll do that on all 4 sides. We'll nail it up, and then we'll move on. Now when you get to the narrower length sides, you're going to find that there's no real good way to nail it. So we're actually going to go ahead and nail it from the inside. I'm going to go ahead and place the nails on the inside and nail it like that. It's a little awkward, but it does work. So there you have it. We got a really nice planter box here. It's 12 inches high. It's just over 12 inches wide with the 2 sides. It turned out really good. I'm happy with how it turned out. And guys, if you have any questions about any projects you're working on, definitely check out build-it-better.ca. That's build-it-better.ca. There you'll have access to all the industry pros, monthly deals, discounted delivery. It's a really great tool for you guys. And remember guys, the more you build, the better you get.